Okay, welcome back. I'm a little nervous about today because this episode's it feels really important to me, and I want to make sure I get it right. So I mentioned yesterday on the last episode that I was going to see a therapist for the first time, and I did that yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to talk about that too much today. The specifics of going there, because I have a bunch of notes. I have a ton of notes, more than I've ever had probably. I wanted to say it became more clear to me today, what the goal or what the point of this channel is. The main goal for me is to practice talking. That's just and it's helped me a lot with that. But for other people, the purpose became more clear today. It's to be able to give someone advice and have that person believe it. I was just thinking about my 20-year-old self, and I just was so bad at taking advice. I guess people in my life never really gave me advice, so it was mostly just online stuff. You would see people, so that's part of the problem, I'm sure, but you would see people say, I keep coming back to that Game Grumps episode where Dan talks about his OCD, and I always had such a hard time watching that, because it's really hard for me to believe that someone like Dan, if you haven't ever watched Game Grumps, he's he's really outgoing, and he has a lot of friends, and he's funny, and I think he's, smart or whatever. It's hard for me to believe that he was ever in a position that I'm in, a similar position. So when he gives advice, it's hard to take it. And whenever people give you advice, they'll say something like, "Oh, I was in your position once," or "I know what it's like to be you." But it's never believable, or it's just hard to believe, because they're coming from a position of they got better, so it's hard to ever understand how they were ever like you. They might tell you, or they might give you examples, but it's still hard to ever understand. I think so. The point of this whole channel is when I started this 8 months ago, and even now I'm still not better. So the point would be, if I ever hopefully get better, 5 years from now or whatever, and I started giving advice, you could believe me, because you could go back to the first episodes and see that I'm not lying when I say I know what it's like to be you. And there's proof of it. Yeah, the the first Last of Us episode I did, you can watch it, and it's I'm not where I want to be yet now either, talking wise or confidence wise or whatever. Just, yeah. But that first episode is... hopefully anybody with social anxiety can relate to that first episode and how quiet I am and how I'm not talking that much, and I remember keeping the volume low when I was editing because I didn't want my voice to be loud because just subconsciously, I guess, I just kept the volume low because I didn't want to be loud. And I think I'll record maybe like an intro video today and just say that. I know nobody ever watches those, but that became more clear today. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the goal will change over time, but that seems like a good goal to have. It's been hard to share these videos, but I'm getting a little bit better at that. Like, I started at Twitter, and but probably nobody will watch this video when I first post it. So it would just be like, after, I don't know, time, you could go back and watch some videos. This one feels important, though. Or these next couple that I'm going to do. So the main thing I wanted to say about social anxiety, I guess, is so when you are like I was, or like I still am, I keep saying that, I'm not better. It's really hard to ever think that you could be different than you are. And it's hard to know even if you want to be different. Because sometimes I think, well, maybe my anxiety is the only thing that keeps me from being a bad person. I think that might be a common thing to think. And nobody ever told me this. Maybe somebody did and I didn't listen, but when people give people with social anxiety advice, I feel like it's, well, you have to just put yourself in a situation and you'll get over your anxiety eventually. Like, just go out and be around people, or just go see a therapist and you'll get better. That advice doesn't help, because it feels impossible to do those things. How could I ever go see a therapist? That's a thought that I have had. Like, it's impossible. I don't even know how I would even start to do any of that stuff. And I felt like nobody ever told me this, but maybe people have. It's for people like me, I feel like you just have to make the smallest, like, tiniest incremental progress. And it's probably different for everybody what that is, what you have to do, what you feel like you can do. For me, it was... I don't have a key, do I? Oh. It was starting this audio journal that I did once a week. It was the smallest thing. Basically, after work, once a week, I would record a voice memo just to practice talking. And I still do that. So I started that like 3.5 years ago. And I didn't even know really when I started it why I was doing it, or I didn't really even expect to get better, because nothing I had ever done before I had helped me get better, so why would this be different? It's just, I don't even know why I kept doing it. It just, and it's kind of a bummer that I lost the first year that I did those. I lost those recordings. I kind of feel like those are the most valuable because I'm the most anxious in those. I remember saying stuff like, I really hate doing this. Why am I doing this? I don't know what to say. And I would just be silent for 5 out of the 20 minutes I did it. I have a key, don't I? No. So that was the first step I took, and it was so small. So I guess if you have social anxiety, it has to involve talking somehow. I know for people it can be hard because I don't know if I might have mentioned this yesterday, but like if you're if you have like a roommate or you don't have a car, because I'm lucky enough to have a car, so I would just talk in my car and I felt comfortable doing that. Actually, I didn't really feel that comfortable at first, because I drove on this highway with stoplights, and I remember, I still am kind of, just when you stop your car and you're next to people, I didn't like talking. I still don't, because I didn't want them to see me talking. So I understand, like, if you feel like, maybe if you're like at school or something and you just never have time by yourself, that could be hard. But I don't know what else you can do, but that would be my advice, is to just try once a week, try to find 5 minutes to talk on a voice memo and just keep talking and then maybe try to go longer, or it's kind of like exercise. It doesn't feel like you can do it, but for me it felt possible to just do that small thing, to do the voice memo. And eventually it took me 3 years to feel comfortable talking enough where I could go see a therapist and feel like I could talk to him. And I still didn't do a good job, but I felt comfortable enough that it would be possible to start something like that. It took me 3 years. I might need help on this puzzle. I don't know. I'll just keep wandering. Lost track of time. That's my advice. And the timetable might be different for everybody. I mean, like, if you do it for 3 years and you still don't feel progress, maybe I would say keep trying, keep going. Maybe it'll be 5 years for you. I don't know. So that was the first step, and then obviously the second step was doing this YouTube thing. I don't know really how much extra doing this helped. I guess it did. I mean, nobody's ever watched my videos, so it didn't really achieve the goal that I had started out with, which was for it to be an extension of, oh boy, what do I do? An extension of the voice memos, but for other people to see it, so there's like an extra anxiety component to what I'm doing. Like when I do my voice memos, I know nobody's ever going to listen to them, so there's not as much anxiety there. But this, I know, even though nobody listens, I know in the back of my head somebody could listen, so that adds an extra layer of anxiety that I have to get over. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I catching up? I feel like I am. Is this what you're supposed to do? No. Or maybe I... Okay. I think I'm gonna stop after this guy. Oh, I did it. Oh, I'm gonna die though. Okay, I feel like I got out most of what I wanted, so tomorrow I can talk about what happened at the therapy appointment. If anybody happens, I know nobody's probably going to watch this when it first airs, but if anybody's watching like an old episode, I might still be looking at the comments. So if you want to see a therapist and you're worried about how to do it, I could probably help with that, because I was definitely in the same situation. Okay, this is... Come on. That's it, right? Oh, another one? I don't know, I was thinking... I started a Twitter, but I was thinking people like me, I don't think use Twitter. I mean, I know I never use Twitter. Maybe I feel like people like me are just more... I don't... What? How many times? I guess... I don't know why I feel like I know what people like me do, but I know what I do, and I use Reddit, and I use YouTube. That's it. I don't use Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. Don't die, don't die. No, 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 no. I knew that was gonna happen. Ugh. Okay, I'll kill that guy in the break, and then I'll come back. Okay, I felt like I did okay. Okay, see you tomorrow.